is Mirree, and I've been speaking lately on my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed already, I've been starting to mention a few topics lately and seeing what you guys want me to speak about more. But the most recent topic I've been talking about is to do with deep listening, and today I just wanted to lightly touch on intuition. And the reason that I have the turtle in the background is it's all about being stable within our emotions. And for example, in the background I've got the central circle of the sun in the gold color, and so this represents the masculine protection, and the dot work over the top of the blue, which kind of makes it look like a purple color, but it's just like a bit of a trick of the eye. And so on top of that is the color of copper, and so that represents crystallized earth. So what I want to talk about today is to do with our intuition. And sometimes we can have fear or doubt come up within our minds, and so we have to discern between our minds and our hearts, and sometimes this is not always an easy thing to do, is discerning between our heart and our mind. And so especially if we've been living in an ego-based mind, and what that means is being focused on the mind and what the mind and the signals that the mind is telling us, and so the mind is giving us electrical signals, and our emotions gives us magnetic signals. And so when we are focused on our heart, and the reason that our heart is based on magnetic energy is because it's so much stronger and is a very powerful force. And so when we can trust our instincts and our intuition that comes from our heart based and not our ego based, which is our mind, then we are picking up intuition and messages that are very highly intelligent and so and accurate. And so also it's also about having a balance between the two as well, but making sure that we are not allowing ourselves to be dominated by the ego mind, which is basically thoughts and to do and around fear, worry, doubt. And so when we think about the story to do with the turtle with leaves that you can see in the background, then it's talking about allowing ourselves and to teach ourselves and to make ourselves more aware of an empowerment within ourselves that is based on the stabilization of our emotions. And so stabilizing our emotions and being able to be aware of our emotions helps us to allow them to flow freely, but also not get caught up or be stagnant on any negativity that we're thinking about in our ego mind. And so we could be thinking that what we're feeling is negative, when actually it's not. If you allow those emotions to flow freely and just to be the quiet observer of those emotions, then you will soon realize that they're actually signals and information that are coming to us, giving us empowering information that's making us more aware, that's helping us to grow in the area that we may be feeling that emotion. And so you know, this is where we can be discerning to do with our heart and our mind, because it's not about restricting the flow of that emotion, but it's about being aware of that emotion and being able to transform that emotion. So, you know, for example, we could be feeling scared, for example, about a particular area in our life. And so if we're feeling scared, you know, we can place our hand on our heart, and this is how we can tune into what it is that we're feeling at a given time. And so if we're feeling scared, then what would be the opposite of being scared or ashamed? Then, you know, the opposite of being scared or ashamed could be confident. And so, you know, allow yourself to acknowledge how you're feeling, if you're feeling that scared or you're feeling that ashamed, and allow yourself to feel it and say that I understand that I'm feeling this emotion of being scared, but I allow myself to transform this feeling into self-confidence. And so see how you're allowing that to flow, and you're not restricting it, because when we restrict the natural flow of our emotions, then it can begin to build up. And then when it starts to build up, it starts affecting our egotistical mind, which is like an electric current, and our heart is a magnetic one. And so we don't want to have that build up occur, because then it can build up to a lot more thoughts in our mind. And so yeah, this is just like a simple little awareness that I wanted to bring to your attention, to do with the thoughts and the ego mind and the emotions, like, because at times we can be in a battle to do with our mind and our heart, but you know, that doesn't need to occur. We can actually allow the flow to happen between the mind and the heart, by just recognizing certain emotions that we feel and just being the quiet observer of those emotions when they do occur. And so I hope this video has helped you today in being more aware of the heart and the mind. And I like to do a lot of meditation most days, and so, you know, I am very aware of being the quiet observer to do with emotions and thoughts, you know. But there can be so these are really great exercises that you can use when you feel like you're overthinking in your mind, or, you know, allowing yourself to be caught up in those negative emotions, which don't need to happen. You know, sometimes this can actually be an illusion. Sometimes just to do with a certain situation. You could have been triggered by somebody, or a situation could have triggered you, but it may not have been to do with that person. It could be to do with something that's actually already there inside of you that somebody else could have triggered. And so that's just showing you something that's already there, maybe to do with somebody else. And so that can be easily cleared and transformed, and it doesn't need to always you know, be there and build up and build up and build up and build up, because we can become quite aware of what that is if we allow ourselves to be the quieter observer and just sit back. It may be just connected to a certain situation that's happening in your life at the moment, or it could be connected to something that's on a deeper level, that's connected to a cycle in your life that you could quite easily free yourself from. Or when you have the right tools and techniques to know how to do that, and so that, or you could be in a cycle at the moment where you're allowing that to leave from your life, and so you are quite aware of what that is. And so yeah, there could be a number of situations happening to do with that. And so, but as we go along, we can become more aware of these certain situations that are happening in our life. And when we can become, you know, more confident in being the quiet observer of the situations and thoughts and feelings in our life, then we can become more confident in our power, in our stability, and taking back our power from situations and people that have caused us hurt or pain in the past. And so then we don't feel like that people have those sorts, so those kind of people don't have you know, the power that we think they do. And because maybe in certain situations we've felt vulnerable, and so we've felt like that we've had to give our power away. And so, you know, everyone's been in these kinds of situations in some kind of capacity and from the past, and so it's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, it's what unites us as a whole in being able to go through these certain situations that we go through in our lives, that makes us have those connections with each other, and that makes us have the things in common with each other. And so it's not something to be ashamed of. I know that I have my own personal experiences have been caught up in situations like that myself, and so, you know, I'm not somebody that's any better than anybody else. So yeah, like I said, we've all been in we all go through these unpleasant situations. Nobody's any better than anybody else. And so yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video to do with the ego, mind, and the emotions. And yeah, I would love to know your thoughts on this video, and also the other video that I put out the other week to do with deep listening. And yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video, and any feedback on other topics that you might want to be hear from me. And so yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.